Hello, my name is Danielle and this is Excalibur Books, and today I am doing another reading vlog and we are going to be doing a Read It or Leave It episode. So these are my favourite ones to film because it gets down a lot of physical books on my TBR. It's picking books out of a jar, so we don't know what we're going to read. So it adds a little bit of excitement as well. I am back at work this week, but I do tend to read a bit more at work, so we might get through the books a little bit faster. And I have a book club book I do need to read quite soon, so if that's not the next book, then I'll have to squeeze that in at some point, like off camera, and then I'll come back to the vlog. Yeah, I think that's everything I need to mention at the start. I have added some books into the TBR shelves because I do pick books off that shelf when I'm not doing the vlog as well, so yeah, they might look a bit different. But let's go to the bookshelves and pick a book. Please don't mind my hair and the mess, but I just finished a book for my last vlog, so I need to pick a challenge out of this to do my Read It or Leave It shelves. I usually film this on the floor in front of my shelves, but it's just difficult to film down there, difficult to set up the camera and get the right angle, and it's quite dark down there. So I thought we'd just pull this here, and then I'll show you some of the shelves and my thought process behind picking the book. So I've got this one, food on the cover. I'm hoping I can get a really short book from this actually, so that might be quite good. So here are the Read It or Leave It shelves. There's some new books on here because I've made some space on here and added more books in, but this is the book I need to read for my book club, but this is not going to have any food on the cover, so hopefully we can get that in next time. And the book I was thinking of that's quite short would be this one. Oh no, it don't have any food on it, it just has a knife and fork. Oh, I thought this was going to have food on the cover. We have Woman Eating, but really I wanted something a bit shorter than this. It is quite short, but I wanted something a little bit shorter. This one has tea on the cover, but that don't count as food. But I got my hopes up then. So I just found Perfume, and that's got some sort of fruit on there. So we could use this one. So I just need to pick between these two now. So I'm back here to tell you what book I picked out of the two books. I think it was a few days ago. I think it was between Perfume and Woman Eating, and I did in fact pick Woman Eating because I feel like I'm going to get through this a bit faster. Yeah, I'm halfway through it and I am quite enjoying it a lot more than I thought I was. From reading the back, it sounded like it was going to be books like Bat Eater and The Eyes of the Best Part, but it's really not. It is a literary fiction. Our main character is a vampire, but she's the vampires in this book are more like human. She's basically like a normal human, but just drinks blood. I don't think she has any special powers or anything. She can go out in the sun, but her skin just burns a lot faster than human skin. Basically, the only other vampire we've seen so far is her mum, and her mum turned her into a vampire when she was a baby, which I'm a bit confused about because her mum is going on vampires are disgusting, they're not drinking human blood, they're only drinking pig's blood, but not from a moral point, from they're disgusting and they're not worthy of human blood. So I'm not sure why she would put that on her daughter, but yeah, it's more literary, but I'm quite enjoying it. It's reminding me of when I really loved Eileen. It's not as weird, nowhere near as weird as Eileen was, but on that literary standpoint. And yeah, there isn't much plot at all really. We're just going through her daily life as a vampire. Yeah, I'm really enjoying that, and it's reading quite fast, so it's not slow or boring. But I'll let you know what I think when I finished it.
There's 3 frogs around here.
Look at these little froggies that are in our pond. They used to come in the day, but we've not seen them for weeks, and we're here at night and there's some in the pond again. It is bonfire night, so we are down here at night having a little bonfire and seeing any fireworks. Oh, there's some. Nice. I'm really sorry this quality is going to be so bad because the lighting's really dark and I look like a mess because it's been chucking it down all day. But I really need to talk about Woman Eaten because I did finish it and I gave this a 4 stars. So I really enjoyed it. It's quite short, so I didn't give like a check-up or anything. A check-in. Yeah, really enjoyed it. It's got really no plot, but I enjoyed our main character and learning about how vampires work in this world, because she doesn't drink like human blood. She orders like this dried pig's blood off the internet. That's what she's been eating, and she basically seems to have like no vampire powers. So like she's like human, but she just eats blood and like lives like forever, sort of thing. Stays like young forever. Got to a point where I didn't know if it sort of made you think like, is it really a vampire or is it like her mental health? Yeah, I don't want to say too much on that because I don't want to like give stuff away or influence people's thoughts. There was a lot of Buffy references, like it was quite constant, which I really enjoyed because I'm a massive Buffy fan. But if you don't really like Buffy, if you've not watched it, I can imagine that being quite annoying. I've started to get into these like weird litfic books and I'm trying to find like my preference. I've read Eileen and I think if you like this book, I think you'll like Eileen, but it's a bit, well, it's a lot more weirder. Yeah, so keep that in mind when picking up Eileen. Sorry if my angle keeps changing, my storage keeps getting full. But we need to pick another prompt out for our bookshelves. Hopefully we can get one that will fit Bright Young Women into it, because I need to read that for book club. Let's choose this one. Some of these are so old they're falling apart, but that is seasonal, and I'm going to say that Bright Young Women fits under seasonal because it's like true crime and it's chucking it down and it's dark, and yeah, I just think that fits, so that's what we're going to use. I don't have a lot of storage or battery on my phone, so this just needs to be like a quick update. I have finished Bright Young Women. I finished it the other day. Not made many notes. I thought I'd make more notes on it. I rate this a 2.5 stars, and I understand that probably objectively this is a good book and I understand what it's doing, and it's like talking about an important topic in an important way, but I am not the target audience for this book, I don't think. I was talking to someone else about this and yeah, they agreed, which made me feel a little bit better because I felt like such a bad person disliking this book. The first few pages I was like getting into it and enjoying it. Like our main character Pamela, I didn't like her, and you gotta understand that you're cutting her a bit of slack because she's been through like a traumatic event, so she's making probably not the best decisions, but she's going to be in shock for that first bit. But like as the book goes on, we also get bits from her current day, and I still don't like her in current day, so I wasn't liking her more. Like I felt like I should be liking her more as it go on, but I was liking her worse as it went on. I was rushing through her chapters to get to Ruth's chapters, which is another main character, and yeah, I really liked her character. Like, you can't fault her character, like, she's a nice person. Whereas Pamela just seemed like really arrogant, and I don't know, I just didn't like her. Also, this author's writing seems really convoluted and really overcomplicated, where it was just like hard work to read. The subject's interesting, and I think it's really important to be told from the victims, like telling the victim's story, because we don't often get that with this case. Obviously this is inspired by Ted Bundy, but Ted Bundy isn't named in the book because they don't want to, he's over centralised, so they don't want to make it about him, they want to make it about the victims, which I completely get. It could have been told not in a better way. It was just, like I said, really convoluted, just made it feel like a hard time to read. I wasn't enjoying it, which you could argue that the story's not meant to be enjoyable, but if you're reading a fiction book, because it's fictional characters, the thing's fictional, you read for enjoyment. It's a well-loved book because of the subject matter, but yeah, not for me. I don't know whether to even show you this, but I did pull out my next prompt and I did start reading something for that prompt. However, I have lost the footage of me picking that prompt, so I'm just going to start again because I am this far into the Tales of the Slayer Volume 1 and I should be loving this, but I'm not enjoying it, so we're just going to scrap that. I'm going to go home later and pick another prompt out, so I'm excited to start a new book. Yeah, I'm 80 pages in. It's short stories and it has everything set up for me to love it, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because we're getting like 20 to 30ish pages stories about different slayers and I can't connect. The one that I'm reading now is my favourite one, set in 1600s Hungary. So it's like medieval historical fiction, which I love, so that's probably why I'm liking that one more. The first one was okay, that was set like ancient Greece. It's just different from what I'm used to being Buffy the Vampire Slayer being about. I think that's just it. But I will read, I'm not going to read the Slayer volumes, but I will read the Buffy novels with like the characters that I love already, and I feel like I'll love them. I thought this was going to be a 5-star, but one of the stories literally didn't even have a Slayer in it. It was about like the Watchers, so didn't like that one. I think that put me off a bit. So yeah, we'll go home, pick another prompt and start the last prompt again. I have the challenge jar. I'm going to pick out the last book. Yeah, hopefully I don't get something too hard to do because I am cooking Sunday dinner, so I don't want to spend too long like doing different challenges. Got this one. Oh my god, it's James picking. I was literally told I've got James picking a book out today. Right, I'll get him to pick a book out. I'll probably do it off camera and I'll come back and show you what he's picked. So I'm back. I just got him to pick now and he picked this one because it was sticking out of the bookshelf. That's the only reason. But I'm actually quite happy because this is The Infernal City and it's a novel set. Sorry about my cat. Oh, sorry Pooh. Come down. Pooh cat. Yeah, it's set in the world of the Elder Scrolls video game world, and this one seems, so it's 40 years after the Oblivion game, so after Oblivion, before Skyrim, because I think there's like 500 years between them. It says Umbriel, a float in its city, casts a terrifying shadow. For wherever it falls, people die and rise again. Inside Umbriel's shadow, a great adventure begins and a group of unlikely heroes meet. A legendary prince with a deep secret, a daring spy on the trail of a vast conspiracy, a mage obsessed with his desire for revenge, and Anaig, a young girl whose hands the fate of Tamriel may rest. Based on the award-winning Elder Scrolls series. So yeah, I'm really excited because I'm hoping that there's going to be like loads of Easter eggs, loads of stuff that's like mentioned in the games, and it seems like our 4 main characters are like one of each of the main like characters you can pick, like mage, thief, warrior, and like the main, like a chosen one sort of thing. So yeah, really excited. Hopefully the writing is good enough. Oh my god, it's so cold. The temperature has like dropped to -1 this week and it is freezing. So I need to go to work a bit early to get the ice off my windscreen on my car. But I'll just quickly film an update because I am a bit of a ways in to The Infernal City by Greg Keyes and I'm absolutely loving it. I knew I would. It's an Elder Scrolls book. As long as it's got like decent writing, I was set up to love it. And I've been in such a need for a 5-star read because I've been reading a lot of 2.5 stars recently. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I still have like half the book to go, but I don't see how this isn't going to be a 5-star read because of all the Easter eggs. I don't know if anyone's played Oblivion. This is set 40 years after the Oblivion crisis, so it's still very much in their recent history. There's people that lived through it. So that's like talking about, they even visited like an old Oblivion gate that had been shut down, and we got the story of how that gate got shut down. And when he was telling that story, he was like, oh, after the person shut the gate at Kvatch, then everyone learned how to shut the gates. And like, if you played Oblivion, you was that person that closed the gate of Kvatch, and it just got me so excited. I was like, that's me, that was me. Yeah, so when it's like stuff like that, then it's hard not to give it a 5-star. I would have liked it to be set more in Cyrodiil, obviously because I know that area like the back of my hand. I've played that game since I was so young so many times. I didn't really play Elder Scrolls Online that much, so I haven't explored the other like provinces. This is set a lot in Black March. We're in Elsewhere currently. Obviously there is no games in that area except the Elder Scrolls Online. So there were some really old games that were before my time, so I don't know where they're set. I'm loving it. We are basically at this thing on the cover, like it's land like floating, is like invading over Black Marsh, and our main character has sort of accidentally, sort of not, maybe a bit accidentally ended up with her friend in there. So she's like infiltrating, finding out like who these people are, and she's also in contact with the prince who's coming from the Imperial City to try and stop this. So yeah, that's the premise of the story, and I just can't wait to carry on reading. So yeah, that's why I love reading, and I feel like I've not been getting that recently. I'm gonna head off to work and I'll update you when I've finished. Okay, I'm not sure if this is sufficient lighting, but I've got the Christmas tree up, so I thought it'd be nice and cozy. But if it's too dark, my phone goes all like grainy because I record on my iPhone. But we'll just see, and I apologise if it is grainy. But we finished the last book of the vlog, and that is The Infernal City by Greg Keyes, and I'm so excited that I finally got this. This was, my boyfriend picked this from my shelves and he just picked it at random, not knowing like what it was or anything. Yeah, it was really good. I dropped my bookmark in the bath. Yeah, I really loved the characters. I'm glad that one of the main characters was an Argonian, because you don't, well, from like what I've experienced, I've not really learnt about the lore of Black Marsh and the Argonians. I've never played an Argonian character. It brought back like a lot of childhood memories. Like there's a lot of journeying into Oblivion in this book, which is really interesting. Obviously, I think I mentioned this takes place 40 years after the Oblivion game. Do I think that you need to play the games to read the book? I do think that a lot of the terminology and like the map and places that they mention isn't really explained, because I think the author assumes obviously you'll know that from the books. So I think it's a bit of a difficult one. I think it stands on its own as like a fantasy novel. Yeah, I guess you could read it. I just think, I don't know if you'll understand or if it'll be confusing. Yeah, I think it will stand on its own as a novel. It might just be like Easter eggy stuff that you don't get. Because I've I didn't really think about it whilst reading it, so I wasn't paying too much attention to whether stuff was being explained because I just knew what it was talking about. I can't wait to read the second book. My only like nitpicky thing I would say is I wanted it to take more like in Cyrindle, in the world that I have been in, instead of like, I enjoyed exploring new places, but I wanted to be like, I know these places like the back of my hand. But in the second book it looks like we're going to be going to the Imperial City, so I'm really excited to read from places I know. I found our two main characters go to this like floating island and they're trapped there, and there's this island feeds off souls, and they have a whole death birth mechanism where it's like a cycle, and if you die you go to I think it's called the sump or something, and then like your soul gets brought back kind of thing. So yeah, I found the POVs in this setting really interesting, like equally as interesting as when we was following the prince and his plotline. So I found both POVs equally as interesting as the other, and I wasn't like thinking that I'd rather be in another POV, if that makes sense, because sometimes that can make certain sections of the book drag. But yeah, I equally loved all parts. I don't think I said, but I did give this a 5-star, obviously, if you couldn't tell. Super excited for the next book. It's so cold, I've got a hot water bottle for my feet. Just drink some of my coffee. So I have a vlog planned for my next one. I don't want to say what it is yet. I'm just going to read another book before I get back into making a vlog. First of all, we read Woman Eating. I've misplaced my copy, I don't know where it is. And then we read Luckiest Girl Alive for a book club that I'm actually attending tomorrow. I did pick out but lost the footage for Buffy, Tales of the Slayer, but I DNF'd that anyway. I will be reading the Buffy novels, but I'm going to skip the anthologies. And we found a new favourite 5-star fantasy, hopefully duology. I really wish they'd make more Old Scrolls books, but we can always hope. So that is everything that we're going to be reading in this vlog. We got 4 more books. We got 4 more books off the TBR shelf, and that is the aim of this vlog series, to dwindle down my TBR. I'll probably be unhauling this one and shelving this and Woman Eating onto my like shelves. Successful vlog, I would say, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time I upload a video. Bye.